My wife walked past our wheezing 5-year-old son in heels and lipstick, looked me in the eyes and said, "Then watch him." That was the moment I stopped recognizing Marissa. Our son Leo was curled up on the couch under his dinosaur blanket, cheeks flushed, little chest working too hard for every breath. He had asthma, so when he got sick, I did not get casual about it. A cold could turn dangerous before dinner was over. I had just checked his temperature when Marissa came down the stairs dressed like she was going to a rooftop lounge. Black dress, gold earrings, hair done, perfume strong enough to reach the hallway before she did. I stared at her. "Where are you going?" She picked lint off her sleeve like my question bored her. "Camden's bachelor party is tonight." Camden was her ex. Not an old high school boyfriend she laughed about once a year. Camden was the man she used to call when we fought. The man whose name changed the temperature in our kitchen. I looked toward Leo. His mouth was open while he slept because his nose was blocked. Every few breaths, a thin whistle came from his chest. "Marissa, Leo can barely breathe." She checked her lipstick in the mirror. "Then watch him. He needs both of us tonight." "No, Grant, you need me to feel guilty. There's a difference." That sentence landed cold. I walked closer, lowering my voice because Leo stirred when adults argued. "This is your son." She turned, annoyed now. "And you're his father. Act like it." I said, "This is not the night to go drinking with your ex." Her eyes sharpened. "Camden has been there for me through a lot. I'm not disappearing from his life because you're insecure. He's getting married." She smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "Exactly. This is the last night things can be normal." Before I could answer, Leo coughed in his sleep. It was rough and wet, the kind that made his small body fold in on itself. Marissa glanced at him once. Then she picked up her purse and walked out. For a few seconds I stood there listening to her car leave the driveway. I wanted to believe she would turn around at the corner. I wanted to believe she would call and say she had been selfish for 5 minutes. But she was coming home. 40 minutes later, Leo woke up coughing so hard he vomited into his blanket. I carried him to the bathroom, cleaned his face, changed his shirt, and felt the panic start to crawl up the back of my neck. His breathing was faster now. His lips were not blue, but his eyes looked glassy and scared. "Daddy," he whispered, "my chest hurts." I called the pediatric nurse line. The nurse asked me to hold the phone near him. I did. Leo took 3 small breaths, each one sounding tighter than the last. Her voice changed immediately. "Sir, take him to the emergency room now." I texted Marissa with one hand while putting shoes on Leo with the other. "Taking Leo to the ER. Call me now." No answer. I called her. Voicemail. I called again from the driveway. Voicemail. At the first red light, I called a 3rd time. Voicemail. At the hospital, they moved fast, too fast for comfort. A nurse clipped a monitor to Leo's finger. Another listened to his chest. A doctor said bronchitis with an asthma flare-up, and they started oxygen. Leo looked tiny in that bed. His fingers wrapped around mine, weak but trusting. "Where's Mommy?" he asked. I looked at my phone. Nothing. "She'll call soon," I said. I hated myself for saying it. I texted Marissa again from the plastic chair beside his bed. "He's on oxygen. Call me, please." By 10:03 p.m., Leo had finally stopped crying. The oxygen helped, but every beep from the monitor still made my stomach tighten. By then, I had called Marissa 3 times and texted twice. My phone lit up. Not from Marissa. Instagram. Someone had tagged her in a story. I should not have opened it. I knew that. But my thumb moved before my brain could stop it. There she was. My wife was sitting on Camden's lap in a private karaoke room, laughing with her head tilted back. A plastic sash was across her chest. The caption read, "Last night of freedom, smile with horns." I stared at the screen until my eyes burned. The timestamp was 12 minutes after my 3rd missed call. I screenshotted it. I did not comment. I did not call again right then. Something in me went quiet. But quiet did not mean done. I called her when the doctor changed Leo's medicine. I called when Leo woke up scared. I called again before discharge. Everyone went to voicemail. More stories came in through the night. At 11:48, Camden's arm was around her waist. At 12:22, champagne was tilted into her mouth while my calls sat unanswered. By the time I stopped, the missed call log had 11 entries. I work in insurance investigations. My job is not dramatic. It is patient. It is paperwork. It is finding the one detail a liar forgot to hide. Marissa had always called that boring. That night, boring became useful. At 1:18 a.m., while Leo slept with the oxygen monitor glowing beside him, my bank app sent an alert. $742 charged to joint emergency account. I blinked at it. That account was not for fun. It was for Leo's medicine, doctor visits, school fees, car repairs, real emergencies. Marissa and I had agreed on that after Leo's first bad asthma scare. The merchant was a private event company. I opened the details. She had used the saved emergency card to help pay for Camden's bachelor party package. For a second, my hands shook so hard I almost dropped the phone. Our son was in a hospital bed. My wife was buying party upgrades for her ex. I breathed in slowly. I breathed out slower. I saved everything. The ER intake papers, the discharge instructions, the missed call log, the unanswered texts, the Instagram story, the bank charge, Leo's hospital bracelet. I took one photo of Leo asleep in the hospital bed. Not to post. Not to shame anyone. Just because I knew Marissa. By morning, somehow, this would become my fault. At 2:12 a.m., my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I think your wife and my fiancé are lying to both of us. I sat up straighter. Who is this? I replied. The answer came back fast. Juliet. Camden's fiancé. She said she got my number from the wedding RSVP list. Marissa had put us both down weeks ago, back when she still pretended Camden was just part of her past. Then Juliet sent another message. I found photos from tonight. Camden told me it was just the guys, but your wife is in half of them. I reached out because I need to know if I'm crazy. Before I could type, she sent one more. I'm not looking for drama, Grant. I'm 2 days from marrying this man. If you have proof, send it. If not, I need to know that too. I looked at Leo. His small chest rose under the hospital blanket. I sent Juliet one photo. Leo's hospital bracelet. Then I sent the ER intake paper. For almost a minute, she did not respond. Then, I'm sorry. I didn't know there was a child involved tonight. She told me one of Camden's groomsmen had posted the karaoke room to a private story, and another had forwarded pictures after Camden stopped answering her. A few seconds later, my phone started filling with photos. Marissa beside Camden in the karaoke room, Camden's arm around her waist, her hand on his chest. Another photo of them leaning too close over drinks. In one picture, the sash across Marissa's chest said Bride Tribe, but someone had crossed out tribe with black marker and written almost. I felt something tear loose inside me. Juliet sent screenshots next. Camden's iPad was still at their apartment, synced to his phone. Every message he sent Marissa had been landing on it all night. Camden had texted Marissa earlier that day. Tonight decides everything. Marissa had replied. After tonight, Grant can't pretend we're still a family. I read that line 3 times. Another message followed. Leo's sick, but Grant is being dramatic. He always does this when he wants control. My son was on oxygen when she was typing that. Juliet wrote, Did she tell you this was just dinner and drinks? I replied, Yes. She answered, Then she lied to both of us. I typed back, If she lies about tonight, can I use these? Juliet replied, Use everything. I'm done protecting people who are humiliating me in public. I got Leo home at 2:40 a.m. He was exhausted, pale, and clingy. I gave him the medicine the doctor prescribed, changed his bedding, and set up the humidifier by the couch because he wanted to sleep where he could see me. Marissa still was not home. At 4:07 a.m., the front door opened. She stumbled in barefoot, heels in one hand, phone in the other, laughing at something on her screen. The laughter stopped when she saw me at the kitchen table. The house was dark except for the light above me. On the table, I had placed Leo's hospital bracelet, the discharge papers, my missed call log, the bank alert, the screenshot of her on Camden's lap, the messages Juliet had sent. Marissa's first words were not, "How is Leo?" She said, "Why are you sitting in the dark like a psycho?" I looked at her for a long second. Leo was in the ER. Her face changed for half a breath. Then she caught herself. "Okay, don't say it like that." "Like what?" "Like I abandoned him." I tapped the missed call log. "What would you call 11 missed calls?" She dropped her heels near the door. "I would call it you trying to ruin the one night I asked for." I kept my voice low. "Your phone was dead?" "Yes." "At 10:03? She froze. "What? At 11:48? "Grant. At 12:22 when Camden posted champagne going into your mouth?" Her jaw tightened. "Are you seriously interrogating me while our son is sick?" "No," I said. "I'm watching you prove you knew he was." That landed. For once, she had no quick answer. I turned the phone toward her and showed her the messages from Juliet. "Why did Camden think tonight decided everything?" Marissa went still. I asked, "And why did you use Leo's emergency card to pay for his party?" Her voice dropped. "So now you're tracking the emergency account too?" I laughed once. It came out empty. "Our son was on oxygen, Marissa." Her eyes watered, but not the way people cry when they are sorry. It was the look she got when she was losing control of the room. I needed one night where I wasn't just someone's mom. I looked at the hospital bracelet between us. "You picked the worst possible night to prove you weren't." She slept in the guest room. I did not sleep at all. By noon, my phone started filling with messages. Her mother texted first. "Marissa says you punished her for having friends." Her sister followed. "Keeping a woman from attending a major life event is controlling." Her best friend sent, "Dragging your sick kid into your jealousy is disgusting." I stared at the messages with my coffee going cold beside me. Marissa had not asked how Leo slept. She had not asked if he needed another treatment. She had started a campaign. So I waited. People like Marissa always made one extra move. They could not just lie. They needed applause for the lie. At 12:37 p.m., she posted in the family group chat, "Grant is making Leo's cough sound like some life-or-death emergency because he can't handle me having male friends." No one replied yet. Then she added, "He didn't even want to take Leo to the doctor until I got home. Now he's acting like I abandoned them." There it was. The extra move. I uploaded one photo. Leo's hospital bracelet beside the ER discharge papers. Then another screenshot. 11 missed calls. Then the bank charge from the emergency account. The chat went silent. Marissa's mother started typing. Stopped. Started typing again. Stopped. I uploaded the final screenshot Juliet had already given me permission to share. Marissa's message to Camden. "Leo's sick, but Grant is being dramatic. He always does this when he wants control." Under it, I wrote, "He was on oxygen when she sent this." Nobody replied. Not one person. That silence felt different from peace. It felt like a room where everyone had finally seen the body on the floor and did not know where to look. Later that afternoon, Juliet messaged me again. "There's a wedding welcome brunch tomorrow. Camden's family will be there. If you're willing, bring everything." I stared at those words for a while. I did not want a scene. I did not want to scream in a country club while strangers filmed with their phones. But Juliet deserved the truth before marrying Camden. And I had spent years doing Marissa's embarrassing parts privately. I was done with that. That night, I printed everything and put it in a folder. Marissa stood in the kitchen doorway, arms folded. "What are you doing?" "Organizing." "For what?" "For people who still deserve the truth." Her face tightened. "You're not going near that brunch." I kept sorting papers. "You told everyone I'm insecure. I'd love to support your friendship." She stepped closer. "You'll embarrass yourself." I looked up at her. No, Marissa, I'm done doing your embarrassing parts privately. I thought shame might keep her home. I forgot Marissa did not run from fire she started. She walked into them and blamed the smoke on everyone else. The next morning, she dressed for that brunch like she was attending a funeral. The country club was bright, expensive, and suffocatingly polite. White tablecloths, tiny pastries, champagne flutes, people smiling with their teeth but watching with their eyes. Camden saw me first. He wore a tan blazer and the kind of smirk men use when they think women are watching. Marissa went pale. Juliet stood near the front of the room, calm in a way that made everyone nervous. She had perfect hair, a cream dress, and eyes that looked like they had not slept. Camden had clearly worked the room before I arrived. Maybe Marissa had helped, I could feel it in the looks. Most of the room thought I was the problem. The jealous husband, the unstable one, the man who could not handle his wife having a past. Juliet lifted her glass. She gave a toast about loyalty, about maturity, about leaving the past where it belonged. Camden smiled like he understood the assignment. Then he reached over and squeezed Marissa's shoulder. That was when I stood. No shouting. No shaking. No performance. I walked to Juliet and handed her the sealed folder. My son was in the ER last night, I said, loud enough for the nearest tables to hear, while your fiancé was asking my wife if she'd still pick him. The room froze. I continued, I'm not here to ruin your wedding. I'm here because nobody warned me before I married mine. Marissa whispered, Grant, don't. I turned to her. You didn't go to a bachelor party. You went to an audition. The sad part is, you still didn't get the role. Camden stood, chairs scraping behind him. Man, you need to calm down. I looked at him. My son needed oxygen. You needed applause. Don't confuse the emergencies. Nobody moved. Juliet opened the folder. I did not stay to watch her read. I had said what needed saying. The secrets were back with their owners. 20 minutes later, Marissa called me 17 times. I did not answer. Her texts came one after another. You had no right. You made me look like a monster. Answer the phone. I was at home, sitting beside Leo while he watched cartoons with his blanket pulled to his chin. His breathing was better. Not perfect, but steady. That was the only sound in the house I cared about. The rest reached me through Juliet. The brunch collapsed behind closed doors. Camden tried to deny the messages until Juliet showed him screenshots. His parents were furious. Her parents were worse. But the final hit did not come from me. One of Camden's groomsmen, angry because Camden had stiffed him on hotel costs, sent Juliet a video from the bachelor party. In it, Camden was drunk and laughing. He said Marissa was always the one, Juliet's just the upgrade package. That line ended the wedding. But it broke Marissa in a different way. Because when Juliet canceled everything, Camden did not defend Marissa. He turned on her. I heard later that it happened in the country club parking lot, with guests pretending not to stare. Marissa cried, You told me you still loved me. Camden said, I was drunk. You were supposed to know better. She said, You said tonight decided everything. He snapped, Yeah, and look what you decided. That was the truth she had run from. She burned her home for a man who only wanted to feel chosen before marrying someone else. She did not choose Camden. Camden did not choose her. That evening, Marissa came home furious. Not sorry. Furious. She stormed into the living room while I folded Leo's blanket. Leo was asleep on the couch, breathing through his nose at last. You humiliated me, she hissed. No, I said. I returned your secrets to their owners. You ruined Camden's wedding. Camden ruined Camden's wedding. You just provided catering. Her face twisted. You used Leo to punish me. That was the only time my voice rose. Leo was wheezing in a hospital bed, asking why Mommy didn't answer. Don't you dare say his name like he was a prop I picked up after you were done using him as an excuse. She went quiet. For the first time, she looked smaller. Then she said it again, softer this time. I needed one night where I wasn't just someone's mom. I looked at her and felt the last thread snap. You had a sick son and a husband calling you from the ER. You weren't trapped in motherhood, Marissa. You were being asked to answer the phone. The next morning, I filed for divorce. My lawyer asked for temporary primary custody based on the ignored emergency calls, the hospital visit, the misuse of Leo's emergency funds, her messages minimizing his condition, and the lies she told afterward. Marissa thought she could explain it away. She said, quote, 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 I didn't know it was an emergency. My lawyer asked one question. How would you have known, Mrs. Avery, if you declined every call? She had no answer. A few days later, she came back to the house crying. This time, she did not storm in. She stood on the porch with swollen eyes and shaking hands. You made everything public, she whispered. I opened the door only far enough to hand her a sealed folder. Inside were the custody filing, the frozen joint account notice, and the address where I had placed her packed suitcase for pickup. Behind me, Leo slept on the couch, safe under his dinosaur blanket. Marissa looked past my shoulder. Grant, please, I made one mistake. I shook my head. No, you made one choice 11 times. She stared at me, confused. I tapped the missed call log on top of the folder. Every call you ignored was another choice. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. I said, you had one night for yourself. I'm choosing every night after this for him. Then I closed the door. For a long time I stood there with my hand still on the lock, listening to the quiet house behind me. I thought about the calls, the hospital lights, the party photos, and all the small silences that had built up before that night. I had spent years trying to keep our family together by swallowing what hurt. But when Leo's little hand reached for mine in that hospital bed, everything became simple. Some doors do not close because you are angry. They close because someone behind you is finally safe. If this story pulled you in, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, was Grant too calm or was that exactly what made it devastating?